Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Greg Helbeck, and I am recording right now a day in the life of a virtual real estate investor. At the end of the day, what I do day in and day out isn't that sexy. I'm doing the work every day. I spend the majority of my time literally right here at my desk by myself, right? So if you're working in a corporate environment and you're around people all day, and you want to quit your job to do real estate, generally you're going to have to get used to doing a lot of work by yourself, right? So I spend a lot of time right there on the horn or on the email or doing a project that I'm in deep focus on. So that's a little spoiler alert, but I'm going to share with you how I'm able to do deals without ever seeing properties by having this cell phone that you're watching the video on and that laptop back there. You can make a lot of money if you have the right systems in place. All right, good morning. Day in the life of a real estate investor. It is, Tuesday morning right now. It's a little chilly in my house. As you can see, starting the day early, we got our coffee right there. We got the laptop here. So I'll tell you my morning routine, right? This is my virtual real estate investing morning routine. So I generally get up in between 5:30 and 6:30. I mean, that's in a perfect world, sometimes a little bit later, maybe 6:45, 7, but at least before 7:15. That is like mandatory. So once I get up, I have a simple routine. I don't do anything too complicated. I go to the coffee pot, turn the coffee on, have a liter of water, drink some Athletic Greens, and then I sit on the couch and I read anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes, depending how much time I got. I just read a book. I don't meditate. I don't sing Kumbaya. There's nothing wrong with that. But at least for me, I just like to keep it simple. And then when I'm done with that reading, I want to just set my mind, in the right direction. I just go right to work, right? So I don't really look at my phone. That's another thing. I don't look at my phone the first, 30 minutes of the day. I'm obviously looking at my phone right now because, we're past 30 minutes, but I try to not look at my phone because that's where all the problems are, right? Anytime you have a problem, most likely it's going to be on your phone. So in my opinion, I want to just kind of keep my mind, pure the first 15 to 30 minutes of the day. But I mean, listen, the majority of the day today is going to be spent doing this, right? It's going to be spent on the couch, not on the couch. It's going to be spent at the desk, getting after it. I'm just looking through my calendar as we speak here. Got a sales training meeting after our daily huddle. Got a bunch of calls I got to make. Working out from 9:30 to 11. I got more calls. I got a call with a client. We got more calls. I got more calls after that. I'm going to have some lunch after that. I got a call with a buddy, Steve Trang. And basically the entire day is just going to be, phone calls, emails. I got a podcast recording at 5 o'clock. And then after that, I'll probably watch the Yankees. So listen, this is part of the game. Our objective today is to get 2 properties sold that we locked up under contract. I have a property in Connecticut that I want to get sold by the end of the day. A property in Philadelphia that I want to get sold by the end of the day. And that's where we're at. So this is the morning of a virtual real estate investor. It's basically just doing the work. So a lot of people, they want to know the secret. They want to know, Greg, what do you need to do to be successful? I'll tell you what, you got to do the work every day, consistently, and make sure it's the right activities. So I'll say it again, do the work every day, consistently, make sure it's the right activities. Now, how do you know if it's the right activities? You look at the feedback loop, right? If you're doing the right things day in and day out consistently, not once when you feel like it and then stopping. If you do the right things every day consistently, you will get positive feedback. Therefore, you will get leads, you'll make offers, you'll get contracts, you'll buy properties. The right things done every day, consistently, and the right activities. That's the secret. I got my Padres hat on. They got game 1 today against the Phillies in, I think, the league championship. But right now, I'm about to make some follow-up calls, and that is still a function in my business that I am actively involved in. Brett on my team deals with 90% of the acquisitions, but I actually still am involved in we call it our top 45. What is our top 45? It's our top 45 prospects that have not done business with us yet, that will most likely be doing business with us. And this is a big version of like the 80-20 rule, which is basically a minority of activities produce a majority of the results. So right now, as you can see, I am about to jump into the top 45 land and start making some follow-up calls on some qualified prospects. Like I said in the videos that I've made already in this series, this is the majority of my day. It's being plugged in, looking at numbers, looking at deals, not physically going out to too many houses. When I'm in New York, obviously, I'll go to properties. If I'm in Delaware, I'll go to properties. If we got a house in San Diego once in a while, I'll go out and check out that property. But for the most part, if you want to be a real estate investor and you want to be a virtual real estate investor, you have to get used to spending a lot of time behind that thing and in front of this thing, right? Whether you're on the phone or whether you're on a Zoom call or whatever. But this is the majority of the game. Not sexy, not that enjoyable every day, just being on the phone and emails all day. But this is the reality of what it takes. So if you are really interested in like physically going to real estate, physically checking out properties, you probably should not do virtual investing because you're really not going to be doing that. The whole benefit to it is that you can run your business from anywhere and you can do deals all over the country, never see properties. We got a good lead today and actually in Texas, a referral lead in Texas, and made them an offer, and we're going to be having a follow-up call with them in a couple hours. So that's a property that if I do end up getting, it's going to be most likely 100% virtual. I don't really plan to go to Houston to look at it. I can have someone else look at it for me. And that's another tip I want to make on this video is that if you are a virtual real estate investor or an aspiring virtual real estate investor, you have to understand and master this thing called boots on the ground. What do I mean by boots on the ground? Boots on the ground is simply somebody or somebodies, many people, who can go take place, who can take part in checking out real estate for you, whether that's a contractor, maybe that's a real estate agent, maybe that's another investor in that market, maybe it's somebody on Craigslist who you can hire, which I've done many times, where you can basically pay somebody, whether they're getting a commission on the back end, they're getting the job if they're a contractor, or if they're just someone on Craigslist who wants to make some money, pay somebody to check properties out. You don't need to be there, right? Whether me, like for example, if I negotiate a deal with a seller, whether I'm physically there or not has nothing to do with anything. Nothing to do with anything. I already know what it's going to cost. I know what it's going to sell for. So me going to a property at this point in my career doesn't really add a lot of value. When I was brand new, if I showed up to a property and someone taught me a few things about what the repairs might be, yes, that's helpful. But at the end of the day, you need to understand that if you want to do this business virtually, you need to set yourself up to where you don't have an option to going to the property, right? Like, so if you're doing this in an area that's over 2 hours away from your house, you know, you're not going to want to take that 2-hour drive. If you're doing this in multiple time zones away from your house, then obviously that's more, it's easier to then not go to the property. And if you're local, if you're a local investor and you just are tired of driving around town all day, it is going to be a little bit harder to commit to doing it virtually because if push comes to shove, you could always show up at the property, which I've done from time to time. But you got to get used to spending time in front of a computer. You got to get used to doing the right activities, which is lead generation, lead follow-up, and marketing. And then obviously sales if you're selling stuff, or property management if you're renting stuff. And those are the basics. If you get really good at those basics, you can't help but make money and get wealthy. So let me give you an update on what I just did here. So I just got off the phone. Actually, this is a perfect little video because there's a rental property that I own that we are getting some money from the government on because the tenant didn't pay. I've never seen this property. This is 100% virtual, which is pretty ironic. And I just got off the phone with ERAP, which is Emergency Rent Application Program or Assistance Program in New York State. I just got off the phone with ERAP, and we've been trying to get our, I think they owe us like $10,000 in money. So I've been on the phone trying to figure out when they are going to give me the money, right? Because I didn't get paid rent for a long time, and I want to get that money to put back into the account so we can keep cranking along. So this is the stuff you deal with every day. Why did I tell you that story? At the end of the day, if you're a real estate investor, you need to move your mindset from problem focused to solution focused, right? I could focus on the problem, the tenant didn't pay me rent for a while, or I could focus on the solution of figuring out when I'm going to get my money so we can move forward. So I just spent some time doing that. After this, I'm going to work on making some more phone calls. I got to follow up with some buyers, and I'm just looking at my screen in live time here. I got to follow up with some buyers for a property we have in Philadelphia, and then follow up with some buyers on a property we have in Connecticut. Looks like we have an open property schedule, like open access window tomorrow for like 1:30 in Bridgeport. So we got to confirm that, make sure we have buyers going through there, and hopefully get that property sold. This is something I got to do more of, right? So I spend a lot of time at my desk in my house,
you know, on the phone with people. And, you know, the whole benefit to being a virtual real estate investor or real estate entrepreneur is that you don't need to physically be tied to somewhere. And I choose to tie myself to my desk all day because it's easy. So it's a habit I track. How many times a week did I go for a walk and do my telephone calls while I'm walking? So, you know, doing it right now, what is it? It's like 2:30, so it's 2:30 right now. So still got plenty of time left in the day to get anything done. As I'm like looking both ways, people are like, why is this psycho talking to himself? So this is, you know, something I got to start doing more of. It's nice when I go for a walk and when I chat and walk, it's nice because you can get, you know, when you're just sitting all day, sometimes your brain can get a little stale. So when you go for a walk, it actually helps you get your ideas out a little bit more, and it kind of breaks up the pattern of the day. And then in the evening today, I'll work out and watch the New York Yankees as I'm wearing a Mets hat, which is kind of weird. But I like both teams. You know, when you live in San Diego, you gotta root for those New York sports teams, even though I do like the Padres too, but I digress. About to do a workout, and as you can see, I'll tell you the truth. This is like one of the last things I want to do right now. I was supposed to work out in the morning. I usually work out in the mornings in between like 9 and 11, and the water was turned off in my building, so I didn't want to like take a workout and then not be able to shower afterwards, because that just kind of sucks, and like didn't have a lot of water to obviously reuse to drink when I'm done. So I'm like, I'll do the workout in the evening. Anytime I delay something to the evening, it usually doesn't get done. But I'll tell you a quick nugget here. When you just do what you say you're gonna do and you stick to your commitments, personal commitments, you know, whether it's working out or making phone calls or whatever it might be, and you stick to doing what you say you're gonna do, it's almost like the universe is testing you. They're like, is this person legitimate or not? So I'm here right now about to do the work. Don't really feel like doing it. Quite frankly, I want to just watch the Yankee game. And I will watch the Yankee game when I'm done. But I have to do what I say I'm going to do. Working out daily is important for me. So if you're watching this, make sure you get your workouts in. Check out this palm tree. I mean, you can't beat that in San Diego. Anyway, I'm about to get to work right now. Hope you're enjoying the series. And by the way, this is what we do all day. I mean, listen, I work out, I work. I don't do anything too exciting. You know, I went for my walk earlier. So this is what happens every single day. We're doing the work. I'm going on that treadmill after this video. And hope everyone has a good day.